Greetings once again, people. Welcome to another episode of Caribbean Feedback. My name is Curtis Henry, and we are here once again convening to give you some vital statistics, our opinion, views, news, and in some cases, attitudes. Right, Sam?
Yeah.
I need somebody to agree with me on that because
attitude.
No one else will. No one else will.
No one else will. And you know, in a world where everything is up, down, sideways, 5 seconds ago you're happy, then 10 seconds later you're crying. It's just craziness, and we just have to. We just had to free up everything, man. Just free up the vibes right now.
Free up the vibes and free up the people to let them do and think as they may.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, people. I saw a couple faces flash across there. Trini Girl.
That's what's up.
How you doing? Good evening. Andrea Lamont, welcome. Trini Girl, and where Andrea safe? She was Flatbush Girl.
Andrea?
Yeah, Trini Girl and Brooklyn Girl. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Lucy O'Brien.
Lucy is in the house.
Santa Cruz Girl. Country Girl.
Santa Cruz.
Yep.
Karin, where your Jamaican friend them? Karin?
Me no anon.
Yeah, that's some Jamaican friend in the place, man. What's going on with that?
Me no anon.
Yeah.
She's saying to you, I'm not very friendly, so I don't have. Yeah, Brooklyn in the house. That's what I'm saying. Here goes the Brooklyn Girl. Thank you so much for joining us.
What's up? That's what's up.
And Sam, before somebody else asks you, let me ask you, what you eating?
Tonight, I have a couple of things going on here tonight. So I have these are like mango dry thing, No,
I don't know. I eat my mango fresh, bite into the skin. Right.
You're just showing off over there.
Sometimes right off the tree. What, me do a mango going in the summertime? But I'm sorry.
But there's the next variety of things I have here. This is called JoJo chocolate bar, and it says guiltless chocolate bar. So you could eat this and don't feel guilty.
What is the purpose of chocolate if you're eating it and it don't contain everything it's supposed to have?
Well, just don't feel guilty about it.
Does it have flavor?
Oh yes, lots of flavor, and it has grains. I don't know if you could see what's going on here, but you see there's grains and stuff there. Very healthy.
Party going on that piece of chocolate.
Yes, very healthy things here. But this right here is what we call a coconut roll. You see that right there? Coconut roll. This is going to be the highlight of the evening. And then now I have these little cashew nut chew bite things here. Cashew nut little nut cake business. So, I have a nice little variety of things here. And I have a bottle of water to wash it down. Hallelujah. And
there's a sip of water in that bottle there. I know who you're trying to fool.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trini Girl says she agree with me. Mango's supposed to be eaten fresh. You understand? Not this dry mango thing you're talking about there. I don't know anything about that. Guiltless chocolate. You see that? Sam, you're on your own with that this evening. I have no idea where you're coming from with that.
I don't understand that you from Trinidad and you don't have you don't know about preserved mango, red mango.
Yeah, we preserve it, but not when you're saying some dry mango, something where you put in that machine and suck the moisture out and
yeah. So that means, you see, I have moisture. If you have no moisture, I can understand. But I have moisture, so I can moisturize the dry mango before it go inside. You know what I mean?
That's a little too much work.
That's a little too much for you?
A little too much work for me.
You gotta know how to lubricate situations. All right, you gotta be a lube. You have to be able to lube things and lubricate situations.
Be careful
that sounds like a totally different conversation. That sounds like a different conversation.
We say.
You see where I start? I just happen to make comment. Now everybody going in on you.
You know, he raised the ants nest, and now the ants raise up, and now you want, let's go back inside, let's go back inside.
No, don't go back. You see what I'm trying to tell them? Do not think that because you're just in the chat, don't be afraid to talk to him, you know. Don't be afraid to talk to me. You know, so
don't talk to me.
No, you see why she had no Jamaican people on the chat? She's not very friendly.
I don't know what Jamaican. I thought Jamaicans would be coming through and handling business tonight, but you know,
that is why she said she don't have no friends, so
they're running like
Bolt. Will be coming.
They're running like Bolt. They're running.
So this evening, we here to talk a bit. How could I put this? I want to know what the hell you all been up to
during the madness
since this whole COVID thing started. We talking about what, Karin?
Creativity out of this madness. Creativity out of confinement.
Creativity out of confinement. So Sam, what you gonna do? You're gonna go run the thing, and we come back. We're gonna jump right into it, and let me hope by then, them other people walk in the classroom.
People would come in and kind of help out the situation.
Yeah. Let me hope them other people come in. So run the thing.
Let me run the thing.
Run with him. Run the.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cup from Music by Tom Cups. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Okay, all right.
That was some nice music, yeah? Nice,
yeah. I was feeling that.
Yeah, move your shoulders, shake your hips.
Yeah, not too much hip shaking going on here, but I was moving something.
You was moving something.
Yeah, I was moving something. I kind of felt that.
As long as you're moving something, you know, that's good.
All right, so Trini girl, revealing some information that she have lost quite a bit of weight, friends. Is that post-pregnancy? I don't know. I'm trying to figure why she brought that up. She has lost quite a bit of weight. On the contrary, I have gained quite a bit of weight because of what we're talking about tonight. This whole confinement situation here with this global pandemic, however you want to call it. But let me first lay out a little history on this situation here.
Yeah, later.
Let me take you all back December 12, 2019. A small group of patients in Wuhan, China began experiencing shortness of breath and fever. These symptoms were later identified as coronavirus. But hold on, coronavirus has been out since like 1965. It's the common cold. But then later they changed the name and called it COVID-19. This thing sent shockwaves across the world as citizens of many countries couldn't help but wonder whether or not it was going to show up at their doorsteps. And lo and behold, in February 2020, the first case of COVID was discovered in the United States. By mid-March, all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and 4 U.S. territories were reporting cases of COVID-19. Then, the president wasted no time in declaring a state of emergency and declaring that we as a nation were caught up in a global pandemic. Then came the good part. Yeah, the good part.
The good part, yeah.
Quarantine.
Yeah.
While most people looked at this as a prison sentence, others saw this as an opportunity in the problem. An opportunity to work on or complete personal projects that you somehow couldn't seem to find the time for. You all remember? But if only I had a time, boy, I would sit and I would write a book. If only I had the time, I would finish knitting that sweater my grandmother started and left me since I was like 4.
Yeah, yeah.
All the time you wanted, you had it at your disposal. Right? Completing projects. People didn't have the time. But statistics show that just 2 months into the pandemic, nearly 50% of Black businesses tanked, went under. Be that as it may, several Black entrepreneurs dug deep. They dug deep into themselves, into their creative minds. Some of them start digging high up in the attic. Yeah, trying to find grandma's recipe for some dish or that everybody took for granted and no one saw an opportunity in. Nobody saw the opportunity to create an enterprise, but somebody had the wisdom to do that during this pandemic. And since then, a lot of people turned some of these ventures into multi-million-dollar corporations. Now, I'm not asking you yet, but I'd like for you to ask yourself, what have you done? How did you use that free time that you were locked down to create or to dream up new ideas? If anyone or any creative person came out of that pandemic and still complaining about not having enough time to write, draw, paint, produce, bake, or learn or to play a new instrument, or make a single progressive move in the direction of their dreams, then I'm sorry to say, time is not the problem. You are. You're the problem. We've been locked down inside how many months ago? Couldn't go to work. A lot of people lost their jobs. And what did a lot of people do? They spend time on social media. They spend time gossiping. They spend time eating. And doing nothing progressively, thinking that somehow their job was going to open back up and they were going to go back to normal. Well, people, we've come into what we're calling now a new type of normal, where we're depending on technology for almost everything that we're doing. And a lot of people were kind of on the outside because they didn't know how to transition into this new age that we are in. For me, I have to admit there were a lot of difficult situations, but let me ask you all, how difficult was it for you to adapt now using technology? more than you used to?
I'm gonna buy that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Karin.
Go ahead, Karin.
No, I was just saying I'm gonna bite on that. I have with BantuKreations, thinking of it as sort of informal initially, then realizing it has to be structured. We're talking about getting on the different platforms, like your major platforms, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth, right? Including AMP Social. Web design, marketing, listening to all the various gurus who have basically made it and are trying to share their information, but their information doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily customized for this business, but you can get little snippets from everybody. But sometimes I found myself, and I mentioned it before in one of our episodes, got so caught up with so many voices. I have a binder where I have just for marketing information. First of all, YouTube University. Big up to YouTube University. I tell you what, how to upload logos, how to this, how to use Instagram for business, how to learn about Facebook for business, how to try to learn about influencers. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And it has been not a staycation, but it's been one hell of a journey, and it is ongoing. It has been amazing and challenging.
So, Sam, were you already there, or did you have to adapt to some changes since the pandemic?
I had to adapt, although I was working from, although I'm self-employed, I still had a lot going on. So I was one of those folks wishing for a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend, with the extra activities that I was doing. And, it's sort of like you just didn't have enough time to get just anything. And then lo and behold, just like that, the bears actually came out and was peeking in people's windows. Monkeys was running all over the place. Bears were guys like, wait, where did everybody go? Are there people out here? And, we were just home. And that's when I said, well, let me start working on things I've been waiting on a little bit of time to do. And one of those things was my project that I just released not too long ago. Now, it was in the works before COVID, before the shutdown, but, the shutdown actually gave me some time to be able to reach out to people and, get things started. So it was a little bit of growing pains to it. I mean, not everything you just wanted to be in the house, but imagine you're in and out, going to different things, traveling to different places, and then one day you just gotta just stay in this place. So it's a different, it's a different type of a thing, and you want to go out and do something, you can't because it's just not that time of the year for that experience. And then things change. So I feel happy when I look at Karin's background and I see BantuKreations on the wall, because that was a major part of someone using their time wisely, And as we go through the night, we would look at other things. But I'll just even throw in the pot that Caribbean feedback was also birthed within the confinement process, so we can all touch on that as we go. So I guess we had to be thankful that COVID existed. So we've had, how many episodes? 80 something now? 80 what? 84 episodes of Caribbean feedback. So some good things were birthed during this time.
Look at the beauty of this. Who is Trini Girl? I would not have known Trini Girl had it not been for Caribbean Feedback. Carol Knight. I would not have known you. I still don't know you. I might pass you straight on the street tomorrow, but I have a little bit of the essence of who you are just by your interaction here on the show, by you all continuously joining us, laughing at some of our silly jokes, laughing at us sometimes with what we may be going through in life. So as a result of this, we created a platform where we get to run our mouths and share information and learn from each other and have an audience that tunes in faithfully every week, and those that tune in on the internet to see what it is they missed by not tuning in. So this platform is something that, as Sam said, was birthed. I don't know why is birthed a word?
No, don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
No.
That's the word that comes to mind every time I think about that a platform that was born. Let me say that.
Why can't say birthed?
No, he said birthed. There's no such thing. Birthed.
No, but I said, that's what I think when I have to use the phrase. I say I always think birthed. But somehow, after I heard you earlier on, I realized like, no, that's wrong. I knew it was wrong, but I got reminded. So, so thanks to the pandemic, thanks to the quarantine, Caribbean Feedback was born. On a personal level, what I did for years, I was contemplating starting my t-shirt company. I was there planning, I was strategizing, I was designing, I was seeking out the right companies and trying to get everything just right before I push the button. And I came across a program on YouTube, and it stated start in 1 week, get it together, get it done, get it going. Boom, XL Apparel was born. It was in the womb for several years, and because of the pandemic, I was able to give birth to XL Apparel.
I don't remember which of the sort of financial gurus makes the comment to the effect of like fail faster each time and you'll get to where you need to get to. That's the essence of what the person was saying. It's like, why get down on yourself? There have been so many things in the last 2 years where, hi, good evening, where you fail, hit obstacles and you just fail, get over it, go on to the next thing. Let's try it another way. And that is the beauty of the last 2+ years. That really is for me. You
see, we wouldn't have had Dr. Judith's personality if we didn't have Caribbean Feedback, because she have a whole fan base, and I'm very, very sure they're happy to see her tonight, because everybody said, where's Dr. Judith? Where's Dr. Judith? And how is Dr. Judith doing? And why she wasn't on the show tonight? And what did she have for lunch? And what is she having for breakfast? Dr. Judith, you might have to do a daily show and just carry people throughout the day, because people want to know what's going on. But welcome tonight, darling. I see you have your head tie and everything, like you're wrap up tight there.
Hello, everyone. Okay.
Greetings. Wagwan.
Sorry to be late, but I had to accomplish what I know when I'm done here, I can't accomplish, so I had to do it.
You will accomplish some sleep. So, Judith, you will accomplish some sleep once you're done here.
Yes.
So let me bring you right in. What we're actually talking about right now is how this whole quarantine, the pandemic, has helped us adapt to technology. Some of these platforms, I knew nothing about StreamYard prior to COVID. I didn't know it existed. I was barely familiar with the word Zoom, never been on the platform.
Okay.
Now, oh gosh, I can maneuver my way in and out. I'm doing podcast recordings and all of that stuff on Zoom. So I have used the time to my advantage in order to bring some stuff that has been sitting on the back burner, so to speak. So my question to the panel, which we were in the process of answering, and I know I'm asking you, how have you adapted to using technology since confinement?
I can say that I enjoy it. No, let me take that back. I'm grateful for it in terms of my family, because what it did, it caused our youngest brother to start. He lives in California, Chris. It caused him to start reaching out. He felt isolated before, but I think this made him feel it was okay. Some people feel isolated and they don't want you to know that they feel that way or whatever. But the pandemic made him, I think it kind of scared him. Not kind of, it scared him. Because all of a sudden, he wanted to tell everybody how he loves us and he loves everybody. When we meet on Zoom, it's because of him for the most part. Years ago, good evening, Trinidad. Now he's just using the Zoom to meet maybe once every couple of months. And I make sure that I show up because I know that he's seeking something. And so what the pandemic has done in terms of what do you call this now? Technology and all of that is that some people who might have been almost indifferent to communications and whatever, in my family anyway, are now trying to make up for lost time, and they want to talk and everything. I like it. I'm grateful for it. I had hoped that my mom would have used it at least once before she left this earth, but it never happened. But it's worked out pretty good. I think some people have abused it. I mean, that's not the right word. They have misused it, and maybe even use it in place of having good sound relationship. They get on the Zoom or whatever, face to whatever they call it, instead of paying a visit to somebody. So does that answer your question?
Oh yes. Regardless of what your actual contribution to is, you are in fact using it and you are in fact benefiting from it. So,
and I love.
Sorry to
cut to you, but being on this, and I've told you guys many times, if this is a partial or direct outgrowth of the pandemic, I was telling my son my sister was asking me, like, when do you go? I said, listen, I enjoy being on with these folks. I enjoy sharing and shouting sometimes and all that good stuff. And
sometimes?
So, excuse me?
Did she just say sometimes, people?
Shush. So I consider it a wonderful. I mean, I actually feel really energized by being a part of this. And when I'm not here, it kind of bugs me out. But I have to do what I have to do. But I think it's a good thing. I'm concerned. Before the pandemic, texting always bothered me because I found that people were hiding behind text messages. And that irritated me because I like to face things and deal with them. But I had good communications before with my son. I mean, we talked from he's a little boy to then we talked about everything and anything. So, but it's a good thing for those who know how to use it properly.
So for those of us who are in business, right? Each and every one of us here have our individual businesses that we operate.
Right.
My question is, how many of us really, and I'm stressing on really, use the internet for business? Or are we still out there handing out flyers and depending on word of mouth to spread to the masses? I am guilty of not using technology in many ways, and you saw me get up a minute ago. I'm still trying to break out of this.
But you shouldn't. So that's
I'm
my
still
opinion.
trying. You see, 1 notebook, 2 notebooks, 3 notebooks, 4 notebooks, a notepad, bunch of papers, and this is just one pie. And I'm trying my best to move away from this and documenting information now on flash drive, saving it in more than one place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Flash drive.
It's hard.
Right.
But this is just one part of it. But my question is, Sam spoke about this, I believe it was last week, in terms of really maximizing on the potential of the internet for our businesses. How many of us are really doing that, or are we still holding on to old ideals, handing out flyers and hoping that some tongue crier spread the word and let everybody know that we're here.
You compared it to word of mouth, and I want to just say word of mouth is still a highly effective means of creating traffic to your company, your site, whatever. But as far as learning to use these websites, so incredibly important.
Right.
Because you just have all of these networks within other networks, and one person might be able to pull you up, into being a highly recognized business or personality, So you have to work.
The objective is to stay in the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm finished. Sorry.
Yeah. The objective is to stay in the conversation also. Stay in the conversation. Stay in. Learn new things. I mean, I learned a lot of new things. And I was somewhat tech savvy, but there was just sometimes I have to call one of my daughters and say, hey, how you do this? What button do I press to make this happen? So it was still about learning, and all of this happened during the process here, and a lot of bad businesses went down, but a lot of new businesses rose up because of where we are right now. So it's just one of them things that we have to be aware of and adjust or die. Adjust or die.
Adapt or die.
Adapt or die.
Yes. Well, adapt, but our adapting means making some adjustments.
What in my observation over time, I realize a lot of companies are now deploying new technologies to cut costs. They're doing it to save money, to enhance productivity. And once they're able to set these new programs in place, what do you think will happen to their dependency on us humans? I mean, simultaneously, we need to understand that while technological advancement is a good thing, it's a good thing for mankind, but it's eliminating the necessity for man. Does that look like a bleak future for us as humans?
Yeah. I was talking to somebody, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, about man's continued search and journey and desire to be in charge, to really be in charge of the world. And that we continue to, I believe that we continue, some of us continue to delude ourselves and think we can really truly run this world and be in charge. And that goes with what you're saying there. I think all this technological stuff is part of man's need and desire from the garden, if you really want to go back, of being in charge, of running the show. And what we end up doing to some extent is we kind of take away the human quality, the human piece that is necessary. Like somebody will tell me, I call a company and they say, sorry, I said, but how did I get this? Say I said, how did I get this bill? Well, the computer sent it out. I said, listen, please do not insult me. The computer was fed information by a human being. That's how it got the information to send me this thing. So please, when you speak to me, stop blaming the computer. Unless you got that kind of computer they come in the morning at 8 o'clock and they plug themselves in and they start and they do all this stuff. A computer is only as good as the information fed by whomever is feeding it. So, and I really believe we think at some point we're going to be in charge. And like you said, get rid of the books and stuff. Some months ago, I started writing down phone numbers because I wouldn't remember most phone numbers to call them if I didn't have it saved in my phone. So I'm trying to save it just in case one of these things flip out.
And they do.
They
flip out. They do stuff.
Of course.
Just like that.
Of course. So as long as human beings are feeding this information, we're always going to be down. Something's going to blow. Something's going to happen. The electricity goes out, whatever it is. So I like to believe that, no, I know I'm fairly smart. I'm a fairly smart human being. But let me tell you something. One of the greatest gifts that I have received in my life is to understand that I know very little in comparison to what's out there. And when you accept that, that's when you can really, really start living a powerful life. But if you want to fool yourself and think you know this and you think you know that, because when you think you know so much, you stop learning. I'm always learning. So I think it's power that man continues, capital M, man continues to seek. Man wants power. They think they can, and we can't. We can. There's always going to be something, a virus, somebody who, when it happened in Atlanta some years ago, where they attacked they attacked the banks and all the institutions, government institutions here. It's going to always happen. One is evil in man, and the need and the power and the desire for power. So that's my contribution to that.
So you guys remember a few years ago, New York City had a blackout. And it turned out that we were getting a cell phone savvy. Everybody had cell phones and so on. But it turned out that the dial-up phones, if you had one, it was still working. So if you were a merchant and you had phones selling, even you had the dollar phones, the phones that you just go in a dollar store and you get one of those cheap ones that you plug into the wall, you would have probably been a millionaire the next day, because everybody needed a phone now, because New York City is out of power. I understand Trinidad had a blackout sometime last week. I don't know if they had the same situation, but what we had to start doing is looking at the opportunity when these things arise, and sometimes there's a light at the end of the tunnel that you can take advantage of, So, we're all taking advantage of it, and here we are, still moving forward.
Well,
but I would have loved to have phones to sell that next day.
Well, what I did in that particular blackout, I saw an opportunity and I took advantage of it. I think I spoke about this on the show before. I knew that power was out and a lot of people would be losing their groceries, whatever you had in that fridge. And children has a habit of opening the fridge constantly and going in there, and it was in the middle of summer. So what I did, I had a minivan at that particular time. I took the back seat out and I went to the ice factory and I bought all the ice that could possibly fit into my vehicle and for what money I had. And I decided to come back up to my block and sell it. But then I said, wait a minute, why am I bypassing people to go to my block and sell ice? I don't owe any allegiance to those people there. So I pulled up by a building and started yelling, ice! People were looking out from like the 22nd floor. I'm coming. And I said, wait a minute, there's no elevator in here. By the time he come down here, no. I started selling to people on the street. And I held one bag of ice for one guy that was yelling from way up there, and I held a bag for him. Just because I know what he had to go through to come downstairs. And I sold out that ice. I didn't get a chance to return home with it. I went back to the company. By this time, there was a line around the corner. Other people picked up on the same idea, but after me. And they came out, and I had to join that line. I was only able to get a little less than half the amount this time. And went to another place and was able to pick up some more ice. And this time now, I cut the bags in half. There was no longer...
Oh, Lord.
Oh yes. There's profit to be made in here. You say whatever you want to say. Whatever I was charging for a full bag of ice, I now cut it in two.
Cut it in two, yes.
I was making double the money. Double the money. By the time I get down to about the last dozen bags, I'll cut it in a quarter. And I started selling it.
You're too worthless.
No, I had to make my money. And trust me, I capitalized off of that. But as Sam said, in terms of technology, what some of the things that we have grown accustomed to and what we are going to be losing out on, we have to look. One of the things that my daughter encouraged me to do when the pandemic started was to get a solar-powered cell phone charger. And she actually ordered it and sent it for me. So you charge that up in the sun and at least you can keep your cell phone charged on something like that. So industries like that or having a few of those items may be vitally important in any event that the grid goes down and we need to survive. But I'm going back to early 2000s, either 5 or 6. I read an article where about 25% of the jobs have been lost due to the introduction of automated systems in the workplace. Now, 25%, I don't know. Some people may say that's a little bit. Some people may say it's a lot. But going back to 2016, 25% equated to about 36 million jobs lost in America due to automation. And more companies are automating. If we look back at pictures from what era was it, when Ford started making cars? When was that? The 30s, 40s, whenever that was. And we look at these assembly lines, we see the cars and we see a human at each station. Look at those pictures and see how old they are, how they compare to what's going on today. Now, if you look at a video for today, it's just arms that you're seeing just do everything. The robot is doing everything. So my question, do any of you really believe that artificial intelligence is slowly replacing humans?
Well, remember, the more we want to advance is the more we want to get back to where we started. You know, at first, mankind was relaxing under the mango tree, smoking some weed, eating some mango, and drinking water. And then, but he had to get up and get, because there was other things that needed to be done. And then now you fast forward to, all right, well, if I could get this to do this and I could get this to do that, I could go back to under the mango tree and eat some mango and smoke some weed and drink some water. So the more you advance is the more you want to get back to where you are. But yes, so AI, robots and all these crazy things are getting things to do because man is trying to get back to going to golf and to the beach, but he, things need to be happening while he and she is doing that. And they, we have to say they now, right? He, she, and they.
Oh, Lord.
And them, and however you have to say. The pronouns, is pronouns or proverbs? Whatever it is,
pronouns.
And so things have to be working, So, yeah. That's my point on that. Oh, by the way, people need to hit the like button and subscribe, and please share and tell people that we are on right now. So we have, I'm seeing some numbers here, 7 people are on. We'd like it to get to 14. So yes, reach a friend and tell them to log on and enjoy this beautiful conversation. Subscribe, hit the likes, all that beautiful thing. Yes, so.
Karin, I do believe you were about to say something on that.
Can you repeat the question for me, please? Sam went somewhere else, man.
No, what I was asking is whether or not you believe AI, artificial intelligence, is replacing humans in the workplace.
It is on a certain level, but ultimately you will need human beings to program, to maintain, to build parts and so forth. Yes, robotics is in fact building the cars and stuff, but you still need the overseers, the human element to assess certain things. So 601, half a dozen of the other. I've seen retail stores in the last 20 years here in Florida attempt to get rid of cashiers and managers and stuff. And when these damn machines started to mess up something, they didn't know what to do. Of course, they had to phase out a lot of these machines and bring the human beings back. So that's one scale, but it happens even in corporate structures.
But it was a testing. It was testing period, kind of like the vaccine. You test and see what works and what don't work, and then you go back to your lemon and honey, and thing, and vitamin C and stuff, and then they come back with something better. So they were testing the machines first, and some of them bombed out. People have to bring back humans, and then they went back to the drawing board and built better machines, right, Dr. Judith? And then now you could go to ShopRite and Pat Mark, and Pat Mark still exists? Is it still a Pat Mark out there?
Not where I am. You're up there, I don't know.
I think Pat Mark, call it a day. So all these places now you go, and you could either go to the cashier or you could go and you self-checkout. And they still have a human hanging around, but
I saw something that said in another, I can't remember how many years, if you visit a factory, you will have one human and a dog. Everything else will be run by machines. And the human's job is to feed the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog's job is to make sure the human doesn't touch the machine.
What?
That's cute, but
that's kind of scary.
It is funny, but it's not true, because the machines cannot maintain themselves. They cannot maintain themselves.
Yeah, but what about human labor though? Does it, at the end of the day, does human labor then become cheaper? And what about areas? Would the upcoming generations now have to enhance their skills in order to survive?
That's already happening.
How so?
Certain industries. Some of the I hate going in the statistics part too much, but the numbers of people who are deciding since COVID began, you know what? Working at home is really cool. I can manage my time more efficiently. Working from home, a lot of large companies don't want them to stay home, the 5 days of the week, but they're willing to work with a lot of people. And so you have certain industries like cybersecurity companies. That's huge. They cannot fill positions in cybersecurity because a lot of these businesses have either intellectual property or other things that they need to protect their own identity or the identities of their clients. And if people are working from home, that protection cannot be sustained in each person's home. So these companies that are built to protect information, they are seeing incredible growth, have seen incredible growth in the last 2.5 years.
So Judith, I know Tehran is by default technologically savvy. Just by default.
Right.
He has to be.
Right.
But I'm asking his business, so to speak, what does he do outside of his normal job activities where technology is concerned? Or does he work within the technology field?
He works, well, he has a marketing entity online that he does his business through. And he's one of the things that he started doing was buying stuff and selling it up in the price, which I told him is a little criminal. Buying stuff and up in the price.
He's a businessman, Dr.
Businessman, that's it.
Listen, he tried to convince me. I said that's criminal activity as far as I'm concerned. But the thing is that he's savvy. Even the calendar that I did recently, anything that I do, the books that I've done in the last few years, he's the creative person. He does the book covers for me. He's savvy. He was suggesting to me the other day that I have quite a few paintings now, and he was suggesting that I sell them in package for like 4. Like 4 for, I forget what he said. I said, Tell me 4 for $7.50. I said, you must be crazy. I'm going to send 4 paintings for $50. No, we got to do better than that. But okay, yeah. Curtis taught him everything he knows. So he's very aware of the marketing angle of things. Very good, very quick with it. But I always have to draw him back to the human element. I always have to say to him, be careful, be careful. Like we said about knowing somebody's phone number, the personal part, the human part, which is what this generation is trying to get away from. They want to put everything in a marketing, genre, whatever. They want to make everything about that. But I think what is happening, no, I don't think, I know what is happening, is that we're losing the human element, which is necessary for us to continue to function as a society. It cannot be about computers and all that. Totally. There has to be a mix. And again, as Karin said earlier, and we said before, we feed these things information. We're the ones that tell them what to do. So, and what that also brings up to me now is that there's so many screwed up people now mentally. We got to be careful what they're telling the computers to do. We don't know.
You laugh to that, but there's.
I'm sorry.
There's actually a Netflix. Sorry, Sam. I just wanted to add on to that. There's a Netflix documentary on how racist technology or racist people who programmed certain technology to do facial identification.
I remember that.
Okay, and it was used to do racial profiling. On a large scale, I'm not talking about some little one state.
On them.
And it backfired on them. But it took years, and people had to go through the legal process of saying, "I was not in this bank robbing it on this day,
right?
But the computers caught you on this is you," and it was purely because of racist minds that programmed certain features in this.
In a similar vein. Sorry, Sam. In a similar vein.
Go ahead, ladies. Go ahead.
You ever watch when foreign governments or even people in the United Nations, they're talking and somebody translates for them? Does anybody realize how risky that is? I could say no war, and they say war, and I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea what they're saying to these people. So you look at confusion in this world, and you wonder, there are people saying things on my behalf. I don't know what the blows are saying.
Judith, do you know years ago there was somebody doing translation in the White House, I think it was, and this person knew no sign language whatsoever.
Yes.
And this idiot was just up there doing so we have no idea what he's saying because we do not sign.
Right.
And the sign language people were saying, what the hell is the president saying? He's an idiot because this individual was up there doing total foolishness.
Can you imagine in Jamaica, right? Imagine in Jamaica. I never said your blouse and skirt. Who you talk to? Where boy? And the whole time, and nothing's been accomplished. Because of this what do you call it? AI. Artificial information.
Intelligence.
Intelligence. People are going to behave as if they know what the person is saying, because nobody wants to admit they don't know what's going on. So that person could be up there giving artificial information And everybody in this world, everybody going,
Sam needs to come in, but I want to tap onto something that you just said.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No. Well, one of the newest technologies that I just found out about 3 days ago, I was just watching YouTube University again, and one of the commercials was for a device that literally could fit in the palm of your hand and very small, and it's like the size of like a size D battery. And it is able to do translations of almost any known language, recorded language, with the ease of a conversation.
Oh no!
Oh yes! Oh yes!
And a man did that. A man or woman fed that information.
Oh yes! And I mean, you could literally. You don't need, these Rosetta Stones and all these other programs that have been successful and very expensive for the last two decades. They're being phased out with something as simple as this, because you can travel anywhere and not need an interpreter.
So what I was trying to avoid is that the conversation would have evolved and then my point would be out of place.
That's what I said.
Well, you all went miles ahead and everybody just said, just now, Sam, I just need to say this, just now.
Sorry, Sam.
Curtis, remember we had this conversation some weeks ago. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. I just wanted to also state in terms of business, because in the world of business, merchants don't get personal on what it is the business thing is. A business model will come and the business model would go. So if there is a demand, there is going to be a supply. Once that thing change, the businessman, he have no attachment, he or she, they have no attachment to that business model. If the business model change and they need to shut it down, they have a process they go through to shut that business down, and then they start a new venture. So that's why you see Silicon Valley, everybody, they start something, they fail, they go and they join up with the next group, they rename it, start something else, that fail, and this is how I look at it, because in business school, the teacher teaching the business class will tell you, if you want someone to be selling you and have feelings and empathy for you, he'll say, go to the church.
Yeah.
In the world of business,
not these days,
it's
but okay.
a whole world, cold and harsh reality. But that was needed to be said because it made me understand what the meaning of life is all about. Well, partially, because everybody will have a different everyone will have a different viewpoint on it. But at the end of the day, why do we do all what we do?
Yeah, tell me.
At the end of the day, what are we trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
Not me. What are we all trying to do?
We're part of it.
What are you trying to do at the
end of the day?
Yes, what are you trying? Yeah, let me see what you follow on the same page. What are you trying to do?
At the end of
first.
What happened?
Sam, answer the question first.
No. Well, it was hypothetical, but then I don't know.
No, it's not hypothetical.
He could have thrown his point in really quickly. So Curtis, at the end of the day, for you, why do we do all what we do?
It depends on where we're working nowadays, because at the end, 2 years ago, at the end of the day, my job was to return home safely to my loved ones, to have a good rest, to go out again and do it tomorrow. But today, since we're working behind this thing here, and through this thing here, the objectives have changed. Because at the ending of the day now, you get so tired and bogged down from this, you no longer want to go sit and watch TV. Being confined to the walls, the interior of your home, and especially last year, that was last year, or year before, when the kids were home, going to school on the computer. That was a different experience. At the ending of the day, I want to go outside.
Right, I know.
You meant that in a literal sense?
Let me just make the point and then we'll move on. At the end of the day, all this stuff we are doing is to protect our avatar. Or we do it all to protect our living license, which is our body. You go to work.
That in a literal sense? The end of the day in a literal sense?
Think about it. Think about it. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do we have this whole thing? All right, you're born, you turn 3-4 years, you go to school, you go to this, you do that, you do the yada da 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 da. So when you come out, you could get a job and you could get to security and you could get this. That's
really, a pre-designed system.
You want to keep a roof over your head. In the winter time, you're going to have blankets. You're going to have heat. In the summertime, you're going to have an AC. You're going to have
clothing, shelter, basic necessities.
At the end of the day, it's the basic necessity that you're trying to keep.
But what are you here for? What are we here for?
What are we here for?
What are we here for? Because those things that we're talking about, this basic necessities, is only because we're here. So what are we here for?
That, Dr. Judith, is the question. What are you here for is different to why are we doing all of this stuff?
Right.
All right.
We're only doing all this stuff because we're here.
Well, yeah, you want to be here as long as you can.
But why? For what reason?
Well, I'm not dealing with the why. I am just saying we do all of this and build bombs and ammunition and plant food and medicine and all the and clothing and everything and make it all type and take pictures so that we can have a roof over our head and food in the fridge, be able to lie down on a bed and sleep and be comfortable. That's why we do all of this. So we make an industry out of it. So that's why I'm saying the businessman who doing business, he don't get attached to what it is he's selling. As long as there's a demand, he is going to supply.
Right.
And when that business model change, he don't care if this person was depending on the job and who was dependent. No, he don't care about that.
I agree.
The demand change, he close that one, he jump on that new one, and he keep it moving.
But I'll tell you this.
That is how this works.
I tell you this: the business model for the businessman is not far different from the model of a lot of pastors.
For the who?
For a lot of pastors.
For pastors?
They're operating on the businessman's level. That whole model, that's what they're using.
Well, there's a demand. Demand
right.
Is people need the word.
No, people crazy. There's one pastor that I know of, he has 5 airplanes on his land, on his property. 5 airplanes. And they ask him a question and he going on stupid and trying not answering the question. But the thing is that there was a time when the saving grace or whatever was the church or the pastor out there just doing the same thing what the businessman doing now.
I'm going to have to ask Sam to pop up the last message we said.
He did already. We don't need to
again.
He did already. We don't need to go back into that. He already did. Just pretend you didn't see it and work with it. We don't have to highlight that.
I didn't see it. What is it? I didn't see it.
No, hello. Let's just segue into
all
it.
All right.
Segue into it. So let me say something. We go back to something we mentioned earlier on. We have to admit that change is in fact inevitable, right?
Right.
We're no longer using stone tools or depending on a strong horse to carry us cross country, right? That was replaced by the steam engine. Later years, it replaced by cars and buses, and then later on replaced by airplanes. And as time would have it, we adapted. Nowadays, we mentioned it earlier on, and we keep saying it, changes in technology are coming at us rapidly. We have to figure out, is it a good thing? If it's not good, how do we survive standing on the sidelines? And whether or not it's good or bad, the fact is that we have to adapt because we will end up getting left behind. As Sam said earlier on, adapt or die. So the question remains is, how do we slowly, as old heads, we just talking about us here, how do we slowly merge into what is happening right now? Because we could fight against it all we want to. It's here and it keeps coming at a rapid pace, whether we can keep up with it or not. I said it before. Go in your basement, anywhere, or just for laughs and giggles, go buy an old computer with Windows 95 operating software on it and see how well you will maneuver today in today's game. First of all, there's no internet for Windows 95 because back then it was the how you call it, Sam?
The dial-up internet.
The dial-up thing with the Ethernet cable and your the phone and when you call that, and you sit down and you wait for like 3 days for the internet to come on. We cannot survive on that technology anymore. It's coming, it's here, and it's rapidly coming at us. What do we need to do to keep abreast of what it is that is going on? How do we survive?
Are we answering that questions as general humans, or are we answering that question as Black people?
Both. Just answer.
Because as Black people, we don't own anything. Everything we're wearing is from China right now. So I don't know, as Black people, how we doing what we're doing. But as human beings, we just have to accept the change, prepare the young people, make sure the young people are ready to carry on, whatever it is. Make sure you teach them your values so they can use the values as they move forward, and just prepare to have a nice retirement when they hit, what is it, 66? What it is when they hit retirement, Dr. Judith? 65, 64?
Actually, you can start out at 62.
62 now, get a nice...
Mm-hmm.
I see somebody say here, buy a Google or an Alexa device.
It ain't funny. It's reality.
It's real.
It's real.
It's real. So that is what we as humans have to do. I mean, nothing has really, when people say there's nothing new, the context of it still holds true. There's really nothing new. It's just that our sensation is a little more intense than the human 1,000 years ago. But there was still, it was still a livid experience for each stage, because, all right, as things evolved, as things, maybe at one point they was beating their clothes on a rock to clean it, until it clean, until they get some breeze. I know when the breeze come in, and then they went and they washed the breeze and thing and soap suds, and then that was able to lift the dirt off the clothes, and then gradually come down till you have the machine and you could, bleach and all of that stuff. So it's the same thing, So we have to accept the changes. It is coming. It is here, and the next generation is using it, regardless of if they know 2 times 4, if they know 11 plus 11, if they know 100 divided by 5, if they don't even know that, it's still coming. And they're moving on to the next thing.
How do you say that there is nothing new? Because you're big into e-commerce, correct? Computers computing things for companies, using embedded technology to do what we spoke about last week, which was like your non-fungible tokens and your Bitcoins and all of that. Mm-hmm. All of that is very, very new technology in the last decade. Well,
it's new. Yeah. It's a new facade. Remember now, that whole thing, the way we're communicating in a space that's not considered real. It's virtual. It's metaverse.
But do we even need to understand it? We just have to do it, right?
You got to just understand how it works.
Do I understand how this platform here works? The fact that you in Delaware, I'm in Lauderhill, Karin is in Fort Lauderdale, Lauderhill. Where you at, Judith? Somewhere up in the bush? In Georgia?
Georgia.
The fact that we are all in different places and we're able to come together here on a Tuesday night, and we have people in Brooklyn and people in New York and people in Trinidad and everywhere, all coming together on a platform. Do I understand how it works? No. Do I even care to understand how it works? I don't. But I could still sit back and thinking, well, how do we do this? Do I pick up the phone and call all of these people individually, or do I get on board with what's happening right now?
I think that the wise thing. I was speaking to some Caucasian people this evening, and one of the things I was saying to them, my anger at Black people often saying the white man this, the white man that, and I told them that I tell Black people, white people don't go around thinking about us all the time. They're busy doing their thing. They're not preoccupied with us. We're preoccupied with them. I said the thing that we need to understand, and I told them, I mean, they're sitting right there, and I know they said this is one crazy Black woman. I said, let me tell you something. If you got an idea that can help me, and we are friends, I'm going to try to get that idea from you. I'm going to try to get from you what I need in a decent way, not trying to rob you or nothing, but I'm going to try to get the ideas that you have. A lot of my ideas about making money quietly come from white people. So what I'm saying, what I said to them is that what I do, the white folks that I'm friendly with, if they have an idea and I need it, it's going to work, I'm going to use it. I don't care what color they are. And at the other end is if I'm around Black people who ain't got nothing to offer me. It's like I went to the store the other day, trying to get some transaction taken care of. They charged me too much for this thing. I never said to the girl I wanted to return the item. I said, look at the receipt. They charged me almost $6 more than the item was worth. Could you please figure this out? She said, oh, this is a seasonal. It's a Valentine's gift. It's seasonal. We can't return it. I said, I never asked you to return anything. I said, sorry, it was on sale. I was charged $11.97 for something that cost $5.98. That's what I wanted to do. She's still in a little warped mind, never said hello, never said good morning to me, nothing. She go to the manager, and all these people are Black. And her attitude was, I'm going to fix this old one coming there and know me. Because I said hello to her, she wouldn't speak. I hear her telling the lady, she wants to return this, and I'm telling her that it's seasonal. I said, little girl, I never said I wanted to return anything. Look at the receipt. Deal with this. Bottom line, the manager, they figured out what was going on, and they fixed it. They fixed the problem. And I said to her, keep her away from me. I said, because something wrong with this girl. So at the end of the day, they figured it out. And one of the managers came and was talking to me at the end. She said that because she said, you, come here. She called her and gave her a good talking to outside. When I'm leaving now, I'm speaking to the manager, and she's telling me about, I said, let me tell you one of the problem here. Black folks think because we Black, I'm not going to talk to her about my business. I'm going to let her, whatever she wants to do. No. If it's a white person and they mess with my money, I'm not going to say they're racist. I mean, I could say they have a color problem. Talking about money is green. I don't have a problem. See, I don't go looking for problems with white folks. I deal with them until they mess with me. And even then, I try to keep that racist word out of it. Unless it's just become so blatant I can't ignore it. But I'm saying all that to say, one of the problems that we have is that we will not speak to our own about the wrong and foolish things that we do. That's why Black folks are going to be behind forever. Because when they say, you're not supposed to be a snitch. So if that was a white girl, I could stand there and cuss her out and be rude to her because she's white. No, and my attitude was I wanted everybody who was standing behind me to let me know she's Black. I'm going to talk to her just as if she was white trying to steal my money.
So let me ask you all something here right now in terms of advancement. Anyone here use a travel agency recently?
I go online and book my own flight.
I used one about 4 years ago.
Anybody in the chat use a travel agency lately?
Nope.
So my point with this is that in some ways we are adapting because we didn't even realize, or it may not even be on a conscious level, that we've already moved on from going to the travel agency to book a flight to figuring whether or not agency X give you a better deal than agency Y, and you like the person over here better than you like the one over there. Now the human element it's gone from that interaction. You now can go online and, as you all stated, go online and book your own flight, check your own prices, and do whatever it is you please to do, whichever airline you choose.
I
when you finish, Sam, when you finish.
I took a course in travel agent, I did a travel agent course to learn how to fill out the ticket, how to sell it, how to do the process, everything. It was a whole course I took in this thing. It go on to it's not even existing anymore.
One of the things I did,
travel agency.
When I was speaking earlier, I got distracted about some of what I was saying. One of the things that like Curtis said, what do we do with all this technology? You can't ignore it. You can't act as if it doesn't exist because it's here and it's here to stay. So what I'm saying, that's what I was saying about white folks or black folks. I am going to get from this information madness that's going on, all this stuff. I'm going to get what I need out of it, and what I don't need, I shove it to the side. I have to be savvy. I have to come to know what's going on. Or is it like you said, I'm going to get left behind. But I don't want it to become my main focus. I don't want everything to go to Google. I want to read. I want to read and not go and search everything on Google. And everything is that I want to be able to, because listen, this lady said to me at the bank one day, she said, why did you come inside? You could have done this through the window, or you could have done it at the ATM. I said, ma'am, I'm going to tell you the God's truth. I like people. And I just want to come in here because I said, I want to speak to you. It blew her away. But I was being honest. I like human contact. So a lot of the things, when Walmart started fading, I knew they were phasing out their cashiers here in Georgia. I don't want no place else. But they started with these machines. And I said to people, stop using the machines because these people are going to lose their jobs. So I go online with one item and wait 15, 20 minutes to get through because I don't just talk stuff, I live it. I wanted these people to be able to, a lot of youngsters that work at Walmart, I want them to be able to keep their jobs. But you try to explain to people, especially our people, listen, for their sake, because every time one of those machines are used, technology, it registers. And that's how they got rid of the cashiers. They say, well, this was used 350 times today, while they have their way of gathering information.
So Judith, you are impeding progress.
You
are impeding progress. You're driving 40 miles an hour in the 60-mile-an-hour lane.
That's okay. I want certain things, not everything. They're too rude.
But as you spoke about banks just now, Judith, over the years we see less and less bank tellers, and then more and more ATMs. Right. And then as a result, now they realize, well, we laid off X amount of thousands of people.
I agree, Miss Knight.
So now what they turn around and do, then they open up more banks. Right? So once they open these more banks, guess what happened? Then there was more bank tellers again. So it's like they're trying to correct their problems on one end and then creating more problems on the other end, because the more they try to advance and overtake them to the point where there's a bank on every corner, like a liquor store now, on every corner, and a pharmacy on every corner in Florida here. So now you get rid of the banks, you put ATMs. So now you turn around and you build more banks. Now you bring back the bank tellers. And it's a forever ending cycle. There's something I used to look forward to on long trips when I'm driving. When I pull up by a toll booth agent and make them smile. Just say something. Because these people, I look at them as they're already dead. They're standing in a vertical coffin. Standing there doing a humdrum routine all day. Meeting thousands of people, but with very little interaction. So I used to look forward to stopping there and for that brief moment, talking to that toll booth agent and making them smile. I cannot tell the last time I encountered one of these people. Are they now extinct?
I don't know.
I saw when I came to Florida the other day, when I came there last June, I encountered a couple of them. But you see, I'm the type of person that I will see the machine and I look for the person and I go to the person. I just prefer that.
I agree with the human element, but over the last 2.5 years, from a nursing perspective, and I do believe in the human element, being able to assess certain situations, having direct human contact. But one of the improvements or one of the technologies that we've seen over the last 2.5 years is computer assisted telephone interviewing.
Oh, yeah.
And the Skypes and all of that, from the physicians and the different specialists to the patient. Now, I truly believe in being physically present, but because of the conditions that we've had to deal with, patients who were not critical or in urgent need of attention would have gotten no attention at all had it not been for computer assisted interviewing. So that is one of the areas where, there is some improvement at a certain level, but I don't think it's a replacement for the human being. But researchers were able to do their work more efficiently, get their information, collating it in computers much more effectively that way.
I went into a gas station recently and saw the same in this Wawa gas station recently, and I saw people ordering food, subs, whatever they sell back there, and it's now done on a computer screen. You order it there, this type of bread, you want this, you want mayo, you slide to the next screen, I need lettuce, tomatoes, this, peppers, this, that. You build your own sandwich on the computer, you place your order, and then it tells you how much time before it will be ready for you to come back and pick it up by the counter. So you don't have to stand there and talk to that one individual making the sandwich. That individual making the sandwich has no human interaction whatsoever. She's interacting with the computer screen based on the information that you, the customers, put in. So now her work rate is a lot faster. She doesn't have to do all of that talking and all of that, oh, this, oh, no. She becomes the machine right now. And the one computer system. So we have two machines that work at the same time, as opposed to 5-6 people serving this massive audience that's coming through the door. So once again, on one hand, it's good. On the other hand, not so good.
Well, based on our topic tonight, just based on how we came to the topic, creativity out of confinement. We were talking about, okay, COVID brought this dynamic to our lives, and we adapted to it, some of us had to make adjustments so that we can come out on the other side. And some of us had to be creative while we were doing it. Some of us had to wake up and actually realize we have time on our hands where we can actually start addressing things that we wanted to address and so on. And I like the fact that we're talking about where technology is in terms of, we're already using the technology in our daily lives that we're getting hip to. Your experience with the Wawa, talking about the travel agency, talking about, I remember hiring a photographer years ago as an artist. I may still hire a photographer today, those who are tech savvy, but a lot of the photography I'm doing myself because the mobile devices I have can take great pictures. So it's either here nor there. But as time is evolving, we are all adjusting. So George Clooney did a movie called what is it, Up in the Air? I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yes.
And he was a guy going around. His job was to fire people, but he had a human touch. And in the same movie, the owners wanted to have a more of a machinery type of, or sort of update how you fire people. And there was a little disparity. Kind of like almost like what we had in the conversation tonight, where we still need a human touch, but the actual thing we want to do is we have to let these people go. And
Hold.
what? Yeah, you know, and what Clooney's character did was say to the folks, well, what did you want to do with your life? You're getting a severance package. Take this, and if you wanted to be a chef, become a chef. If you wanted to do travel more, travel more. Start that business you wanted to start that you never had a chance to start. You know, to take your mind away from, well, I needed to have this job, or if I don't have this job, I'm going to lose my mind, or it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world when the job shut down. It's not the end of the world if the demand for whatever it is you need is low. Could you imagine you go down Church Avenue and see a travel agency open? I doubt you. I mean, if you see a travel agent, if anybody in the chat, you're living in New York, Church Avenue, because Church Avenue used to have a whole set of travel agency one time. If you could find one right now,
let us know where it is. Let us know where it is.
Because people, you go online and you buy a ticket. Why am I going to a travel agency today?
Okay, so hold your thoughts, Sam. Let me bring this around to Karin now. Nice and sweet. Pour us with your information. You ain't got no time limit. Take the floor. Tell us what you feel, what you think. If you want to stay behind and do like Judith and drive 40 in the 60-mile-an-hour zone, or you intend to ride this wave and go with the thing, you tell me where you see things going. Whatever other information you have for us, take us home. I don't think we could cover all of this in one night. Just let me hear what you have to say on this. Take me home on this conversation.
Good to see you. Anyway, from my perspective, the last 2.5 years has been phenomenal on so many levels. Where we're talking about retail, we're talking about hospitality services, all of these different genres, automotive, everything has had to make an adjustment, has had to rethink their processes of how to serve their customers, whether the customers are, in and out, city to city, or in hospital or in hotels. They've had to deal with the fact that they were not prepared as they thought they were. Okay? My part has been to go to YouTube University, to learn some marketing, to learn from small business administration of how to go about structuring a company, to structure an LLC, to use a DBA, which is doing business as a larger business, to structure, how to set the company up on a computer platforms, using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Fiverr for certain services, Google services for small businesses. It's all been such a huge learning process for me, and it doesn't end. I literally have been trying to learn some more about photo editing to put out better quality photos, especially for the business website. And literally yesterday, I got a damn headache because I was at it for several hours and I was just being stumped by one or two little things. And I got a headache and I had to put it down for a little while. Go back to it after a couple of hours. So it's not easy, but it's necessary. Absolutely necessary in every industry you can think of. And the old status quo of going back to the 9 to 5, most people are not with that. And I haven't been with that for a couple of years myself. But you have to learn. That's it.
Dr. J.
Yeah. Listen, I think we have all said what needs to be said. The fact is that we cannot change. We cannot change what is happening, but we can decide how much of a part it plays in our lives. I don't believe that everything has to be automated, like I said. And somebody, I forget if it's Miss Knight said, or the other lady said that she doesn't like texting. I think that a lot of things that are happening now in our world they're good. They can be used for good, and they are being used for good. But at the same time, I think we have to be careful not to become too dependent on any of it, and to lose the human element. To use, like I said, I will go in the bank. I will go in the bank rather than go through the ATM machine. I like the personal touch. I like to talk to people. I like to spoke to a lady the other day, just talking to her. She ended up telling me she has brain cancer, and all this stuff. I ended up praying for her right in the parking lot where I met her. People are suffering. This pandemic has brought out a lot of things that people are hiding. Relationships have fallen terribly, broken apart, because it's not just that people started spending time together, is that people who've been trying not to spend time together are now forced to be together and causing a lot of problems and divorces and stuff. So I think that it's a necessary evil because we have come so far with all this technology. But as individuals, I'll write my phone numbers down. I'll keep her certain. I don't talk to Alexa. I don't want to talk to her. I don't know her, and I don't want to get to know her. So I think that we have to be very careful how we dehumanize our lives and how we give credit and power. And that's one of the things that these wretches out here, politicians and stuff, are using to control us. Now, you mentioned earlier about the pandemic, and something you said about the pandemic. Can't remember exactly what you said, but the pandemic, I believe, is going to continue for a long time because we have, again, I go back to, as human beings, we have a problem with obedience. We have a problem with doing what makes sense to benefit the whole and not just the individual. We have problems in that area. So the pandemic is a symptom, to me, it's a sign that we just won't do what we need to do for the society as a whole. Everything's about us. The divorces and stuff, all selfishness. People, it's there. All that stuff has been there. And the pandemic just brought everything out. So I believe that I use technology. Some of it I can't avoid, but I don't let technology use me. What are you laughing about, Sam?
Somebody wants you to back up your phone on the iCloud.
They want me to do what?
Back up your phone on the cloud.
Listen to me. I heard somebody talk about the cloud the other day. So what cloud? I said, oh, Lord, help me. Listen, people do what they got to do. People do what they got to do. I don't got to do it. And Curtis, what you talk about, those books, getting rid of them, I have a lot of things in books, and I'm getting rid of some. I'm just not going to do it. So.
Sam?
Yep.
I remember in Rocky, not in Rocky, in Creed, when Rocky spoke to I forgot the character's name, Michael B's character in Rocky, and he gave him some information, and he said, "You're not gonna write this down?" He said, "Oh no, it's in the cloud." And Rocky looked up in the sky like, "What? Where did this in the cloud? Where did this in the cloud?" He just do this. He said, "Yeah, meet us." He said, "Okay, all right."
One in the cloud, don't mess us up.
So coming back, I know the topic went in different places, but these are all related to the general topic of how we adjusted during being confined. Right? Carol does mention that people were creative by planning Zoom gatherings, weddings, family reunions, and etc. So people had to be creative to get together some way or the other. And the way we had to be creative, part of it had to do with technology, and my mind goes back to a show called The Knight Rider.
Kit,
you remember The Knight Rider?
Kit, come on over here. Here,
the car was Kit, and the Kit was AI, or what you call artificial intelligence, and fast forward to a movie that Tom Hanks did when he was flying for FedEx. What was the name of that movie?
Castaway.
Castaway. And who was his
Wilson?
Wilson was his companion, which was a basketball. Was it it was a
volleyball.
Volleyball, right? And you see now, in the Stone Age, Tom Hanks had to connect with somebody, and he connect with Wilson. Was the guy who was the Knight Rider? What's his name?
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff had to connect with Kit in his time, and now we have Alexa and Siri. And let me see what Carol put here. Carol put something here.
On the other hand, the pandemic was just to increase the use of technology and keep humans apart. A virtual hug is not the same. Somebody just making money off of that.
Okay, so interesting viewpoint. Maybe that could be a topic in the future. We could look at that. Dr. Judith and Roxanne says, Telsa, driveless. A driverless Tesla, right?
Tesla.
So I guess people are being creative. Dr. Judith, you want a Tesla car where you can just type in you just say your home address, just say go home, and you just sit back in your car and fall asleep. And then the car.
That might be tempting because I tend to like to sleep.
You like to sleep?
That might be an attraction. But the thing is that it goes back to the same thing. We're giving control supposedly to inanimate objects. We're giving control to them, and we barely have control over our lives, but we're giving it to these machines and stuff. And Tesla, something happened recently. Something happened a couple of days ago with a Tesla car. Something happened that was, I can't remember what it is, but it was pretty severe in that whatever programming is done, something went haywire, something went crazy. Several months ago, a lady got killed because there was a Tesla on the street and it was moving, and this lady was crossing the street and it knocked her down and killed her. And the guy who was following behind, monitoring the progress of the car, said he got distracted because he was texting. You see how crazy that is? So I don't, you know what it is? I don't like extremism, and I don't like anything that makes me wander away where you can just, it's like I was talking to somebody today. If you're not careful, they're talking about this thing called Tinder swindler. Have you heard about it?
That's a Tinder swindler is a documentary made on an individual who was swindling some fools on the platform.
But part of that is carelessness. Part of that is a technological thing has taught us, and we get on these things and we're not savvy, and people start telling us stuff and all this foolishness. And one woman gave her like $250,000 to this man. He dead. He'd be dead if he ever. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff. All this technology. Because I promise you, if people were facing each other.
Okay, that we cannot help, whether regardless of technology or if we still coming to the door knocking to sell vacuum cleaners, swindlers will find a way to survive. So that has no bearing on technology. Those people will find a way to survive regardless of what.
Don't say it has no bearing now. It might not have as much as I'm giving.
Those people will find a way. Anyway, Sam, continue, close us out, take us home. They will find a way to survive.
I think that if people could just hit the like button some more, and share this link because I thought it was a good conversation. Please do that. To you, good to say. IRL snacking. Somebody say IRL snacking. I'm snacking tonight.
Okay, as you all mentioned, Alexa and Siri. I kind of like Alexa and Siri. You know, because right now they're the only two women who would listen to me nowadays.
You know why?
You say, Alexa, do this, Alexa, do it. Siri, do that, Siri, do it. You know what I mean?
They're not real.
They just do not really talk back. You understand? But on the other hand, I don't really know if I could tolerate when I'm driving, especially on the highway, having some woman telling me what to do. Turn left, turn right. There's a nail in the road. Slow down. Cops behind you. Cops up the street. So no, shut up. I don't know if I could really tolerate that. So that's where I might draw the line.
You're technologically challenged.
One of the other things, I don't care what anybody say. I want one of those vacuum cleaners. Somebody spoke about it a minute ago. You know, the vacuum cleaners that you could talk to and say, go clean in front of the sofa. And the vacuum cleaner would just leave its port and drive itself along regardless of what obstacles in the way, and go to the front of the sofa and clean the sofa, clean the floor. Because I can guarantee you, if that was a woman and you say, go clean in front of the sofa, she say, who make the mess? I didn't make it. Go do it yourself. I'll get to it when I'm ready. So that vacuum cleaner, no back talk. It's going to get up and do what you tell it to do. So I think somewhere down the road, I might invest in one of them. Because I know I ain't getting no back talk.
Carol said every time you say Alexa, who's coming on?
So we have to ask ourselves, what does the future look like for taxi and bus drivers, delivery drivers? Because as mentioned before, driverless cars are now on the horizon. They still have some testing to do, and after the testing, they have to wait on government approval and other devices to be placed in society in order for it to be a smooth run. But it's coming, people. It's coming. Driverless cars are on the horizon. Computers are now doing even some low-level medical procedures, anesthesia, and some other procedures. Computers are doing those. You could now order some basic food items and walk into the store, scan your card, open up a compartment, and walk out with your food. While other people left standing up there using the antiquated method of being served. The numbers of cashiers, as we mentioned before, are being diminished. Pay attention. Ask yourself, when was the last time you went to a bank to check your balance? Most of us do that right now, right here, on the phone. This is your computer. You don't need to go to the bank's computer to check your balance. Workers are also diminishing. Why? Because a lot of homes nowadays are being prefabricated. They come, they use a crane, put up this one, put up this one. We don't see masons there again putting bricks down. That's done in a factory. So whether we like it or not, we cannot be angry at this new generation, Z, Generation X, or whatever it is they call it themselves, because we cannot educate these children for yesterday's world. We have to educate them, and they have to educate themselves for today's world and the world that is to come tomorrow. We cannot educate them for ancient technology and for stuff that we used to do when we were growing up. That's gone. It's gone. It's like sand at the bottom of the hourglass. You cannot retrieve that. We can't. We, as adults, we need to keep enhancing our skills in order to stay abreast, to keep up. In the face, some people might call it a dismal reality that we're facing right now. And some of us, if we're not careful, we'll have to move aside if we don't fit in to this world. If we don't, we have to update ourselves, update our own internal hard drive, update our skill sets for this world, to fit into this world. Because it has advanced and it's continuing to advance in our presence. And many of us are just too blind or too ignorant to see and accept the changes as they're happening. Remember, people, as Abraham Lincoln once said, do not believe everything you read and hear on the internet.
Oh, Lord.
Peace and blessings.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people ask, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.